Hey guys, happy Friday. I wish I could see all your faces for real, but I hope you're all doing really well. I feel like I have to explain that I did film this video on a different day than the last one. I just happened to be wearing the exact same t-shirt again, which was not intentional. It just shows you how long it's been since I went shopping. So anyway, and today we're doing Psalm 55. Which I thought was kind of a strange one when I first read it, but I really liked what the She Reads Truth study said about it, so I'm probably going to talk a little bit about that, but first I'm just going to go ahead and read it. And again, I'm reading this from the ESV. Psalm 55, Cast your burden on the Lord. To the choir master with stringed instruments, a maskil of David. Give ear to my prayer, O God, and hide not yourself from my plea for mercy. Attend to me and answer me. I am restless in my complaint, and I moan because of the noise of the enemy, because of the oppression of the wicked. For they drop trouble upon me, and in anger they bear a grudge against me. My heart is in anguish within me. The terrors of death have fallen upon me. Fear and trembling come upon me, and horror overwhelms me. And I say, oh, that I had wings like a dove. I would fly away and be at rest. Yes, I would wander far away. I would lodge in the wilderness. I would hurry to find a shelter from the raging wind and tempest. Destroy, O Lord, divide their tongues, for I see violence and strife in the city. Day and night they go around it on its walls, and iniquity and trouble are within it. Ruin is in its midst. Oppression and fraud do not depart from its marketplace. For it is not an enemy who taunts me, then I could bear it. It is not an adversary who deals insolently with me, then I could hide from him. But it is you, a man, my equal, my companion, my familiar friend, we used to take sweet counsel together. Within God's house we walked in the throng. Let death steal over them, let them go down to Sheol alive, for evil is in their dwelling place and in their heart. But I called to God, and the Lord will save me. Evening and morning and at noon I utter my complaint and moan, and he hears my voice. He redeems my soul in safety from the battle that I wage, for many are arrayed against me. God will give ear and humble them, he who is enthroned from of old, because they do not change and do not fear God. My companion stretched out his hand against his friends. He violated his covenant. His speech was smooth as butter, yet war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Cast your burden on the Lord, and he will sustain you. He will never permit the righteous to be moved. But you, O God, will cast them down into the pit of destruction. Men of blood and treachery shall not live out half their days, but I will trust in you. So in the study, the writer talked about the fact that one of the great things about the Psalms is that they're not all pretty and perfect and super religious sounding. My siblings and I were talking the other day about the stress that all of us feel when we get asked to pray out loud in a group setting. I'm sure like some of you have also felt that. It's really scary. And the funny thing about that is that we usually all feel this pressure to like say the right thing or say something that sounds super profound or super holy or like we're great Christians. And one of the great things about the Psalms that the writer of the She Reads Truth study pointed out was that they're not like that. Some of them are like that. Some of them are very poetic and beautiful and have a lot of theology in them. And some of them are like this one, which is really just very angry. And it is clear from what's written here that David has been betrayed by somebody that he really trusted and cared about. And all of us, I'm sure a lot of us have experienced something like that. I know I have. But even if we haven't, we've experienced some kind of darkness or trouble, even if it's just what's going on in the world right now. And something else that I love about this psalm is that it sort of gives us the ability to approach God in this way, in a way where we sometimes don't see what the end is going to be. We don't see when the deliverance is going to come, and sometimes we don't even feel like we believe in it. And I know that's something I've been really struggling with the past few days is It's so hard to feel like there's ever going to be any kind of end or any kind of point to this. And a lot of times I just find myself really angry because I feel like, my dreams and the dreams of people I care about were just sort of crushed. Like, there are so many things that people aren't going to be able to do. And aren't going to be a part of and aren't going to be able to be celebrated that people have been looking forward to for years. And that just feels so unbelievably unfair to me. And it's so hard for me to go to God in these kind of situations because I feel like he could have done something about it and he just didn't. And what I like about this psalm is that it gives me the liberty to be able to take those emotions and still approach God with them. I think sometimes we feel like we can only approach God if we're feeling, in the mood to worship or really holy or something. And David is not in that mood at all in this psalm. He is literally basically screaming at God, like, please do something, please answer me. And God, there's never really a resolution to this. The only resolution is no matter what happens, I will still trust in you, which I think sometimes is the only thing we can hold on to. It's clear from this psalm that the trouble hasn't yet ended when David writes this, because he says, I call to the Lord and the Lord will save me. So he believes the Lord will save him, just as in this kind of situation, we have to believe that the Lord will save us, even if we don't see it, and even if it doesn't seem like there's any way that he could. And I think David was sort of in the same situation. He didn't see any way that God could make this trouble better, and he didn't see any sign that God was going to, but he had to believe that God was because he knows the character and the person of God. And sometimes I think, especially for me, that's the only thing I can hold on to in difficult situations is that I know God and I know what he's like. And it's impossible that he would let us down now when he's never let us down before. Because I think all of us have been through difficult things before and see him bring us through that, seen his hand in that. And that's the only reason we can believe that he's going to do that same thing again. So those are kind of my thoughts. I'm sorry, I feel like this is kind of a heavy one. But I hope it meant something to you and that you can carry something from this psalm with you throughout the day. And I'm excited to hear what you all have to say about it. So happy Friday and have a good weekend.